Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Urbana City Council. This is a special meeting for Monday, May 17th, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Here.
Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Hersey. Councilmember Colasetti.
Here.
Councilmember Bishop.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkin.
Here.
Councilmember Quisenberry. Mayor Marlin.
Here. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the February 10th, 2025 City Council meeting. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Mary Alice, seconded by Jaya. Are any substantial corrections? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. That motion passes. There are no additions to the agenda. Move on to presentations and public input. We do have a presentation scheduled tonight by the UIUC Environmental Leadership students. We'll take that first, and then we'll move on to general public input. And those who are planning to speak should come up to the table here.
Magnetic.
So welcome, and make sure your microphones are on. The green light should be on. Pull them close to your to speak, and please introduce yourself, and you'll have 10 minutes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, thank you. My name is Yesenia Adrianson.
I'm Elise Koch.
Hi, my name is Jimena Martinez.
Well, hello, Council. Good evening. We are here to express our strong support for the current initiative to implement a plastic bag tax in the city of Urbana. Based on the serious health and environmental impacts of plastic waste, and any movement towards a plastic-free future is exciting to see. For the past couple weeks, our team and I have researched the negative health impacts plastics have on humans with the Beyond Plastic movement, a nationwide organization fighting for plastic ordinances across the country. They are arguing for a framework banning plastic straws, stirrers, balloons, plastic bags, and polystyrene. They've built up traction in various cities like Chicago. Tonight, we want to highlight the critical health and environmental concerns caused by plastic pollution and explain why Urbana must take action moving forward with this bag tax. It is a crucial first step towards protecting both public health and our local environment.
The dangers of plastic pollution are well documented but often overlooked. Plastic is a human-made material, and it's only been around for around a century, yet every piece ever produced still exists today. Unlike organic materials, it doesn't decompose. It simply breaks into smaller and smaller pieces, becoming micro and nanoplastics. These tiny plastic fragments are now everywhere. They have been found at the highest peaks of Mount Everest, in the deepest parts of the ocean, and alarmingly inside the human body. Microplastics have been detected in human lungs, blood, breast milk, and even in developing fetuses.
But the real concern isn't just plastic itself, it's what it carries with it. Dr. Philip Lardingham from Boston University explains, as plastics break down, they leach toxic chemicals that make their way into our bodies. Many of these chemicals are known as carcinogens, linked to increased risk of breast, prostate, and testicular cancers. Other interference with our hormones, disrupting the endocrine system and contributing to infertility, obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. The impact isn't just physical, it's neurological. Studies have shown that early exposure to plastic chemicals can affect brain development, leading to lower IQs, attention disorders like ADHD, and even increased autism risk.
And beyond human health, plastic pollution is devastating as well to the environment. Wildlife mistakes plastic for food, leading to starvation and poisoning. Plastics clog our waterways, pollute our soil, and release harmful chemicals into our air and water.
By seeking to reduce plastic bag consumption with this tax, Urbana is showing awareness of the dangers of plastic pollution and their dedication to phasing it out. Some people might argue that there are equity concerns with the bag tax, but the cost to consumers are minimal. A study done by Mountain True in North Carolina showed that consumers paid an annual total of $3.33 when a 10-cent tax was put on bags.
This is a real opportunity to take meaningful action in reducing single-use plastic waste in Urbana. Your constituents care deeply about human and environmental health and want this to see reflected in the cities. And your constituents care deeply about human and environmental health and want to see your city reflect those values. We recognize that the council has agreed on increasing the current recycling tax rate with a tax on plastic bags as a funding mechanism.
We ask now that you direct city staff to develop the necessary policy to ensure this change is put into action effectively. We urge you to move forward with its implementation and demonstrate that Urbana is ready to take the necessary steps towards a cleaner and healthier future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We do have time for some questions, if anyone has questions for the students. The city's committed to the plastic bag tax, and it will happen.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
We'll move on to regular public input. Does anyone wish to address the council? You have 5 minutes to speak. Please state your name for the record.
Is it on?
Yes, it's on.
My name is Robert Michael Doyle. Family and friends know me as Mike or Michael Doyle. I have been speaking off and on before this council since the time of Mayor Markland, the last Republican mayor of Urbana, and a very good man. I speak most often about gay issues. I'm a longtime gay activist. I'm here tonight to remind you of your 50th anniversary, which I hope you are making plans to celebrate. 1975, before I was out and involved with gay politics, this council passed the first gay rights legislation in the state of Illinois, long before the state did it, or the United States government did anything. It was prohibited discrimination on the basis of sexual preference, which means the same thing legally as sexual orientation, mainly in housing, is my memory, on the basis that no one should be discriminated on for their sexual preference or orientation. After coming out, becoming the male co-president of what then became Gay Illini, originally started as Gay Students Alliance, but it was getting itself organized as the second openly gay organization in town in 1975, so it wasn't involved with this council at that time. In 1977, I participated and was instrumental in getting the city of Champaign to pass the Human Rights Ordinance, which is still in effect. In both cities, you have almost identical human rights ordinances. And that ordinance covered a whole range of categories. I think about 16. And it was the first ordinance, of course, the second after you, to protect people on the basis of sexual orientation. First ordinance in the state to protect on the basis of gender identity. The language was somewhat archaic and has, my understanding, been modernized by both cities since then. As a result, Champaign was first in the state and third or fourth in the nation to protect on the basis of gender identity. At that time, and maybe it is still true, when one city did something, it immediately came up in the other city. And so, under Jeffrey Markland and the council at that time, and I appeared then before you to argue on behalf of that ordinance, this council passed your own ordinance that matched Champaign's almost word for word. I considered that the high point of my life, my contribution to the general public, to the community. And I did many things since then that I'm equally proud of, but that was, I think, my best effort for anything. So I'm hoping that this city is already planning some celebration this year of your 50th anniversary of doing something really good. And if not, get busy. Another way to fight the imposition of fascism at the federal level is to celebrate things that the fascists hate, as well as, of course, passive resistance, nonviolent passive resistance. Anyway, I am planning a celebration of my own 50th anniversary of coming out as a gay person. It will be April 9th, a Wednesday, in downtown Champaign in Quality Bar, which is right across from the Champaign City Building on the northeast corner of Neal and Chester. Some old-timers will know that building as one of two lock, stock, and bagel places ages ago. Both, of course, are gone. I will be providing free finger food and chilled bottled water. The bar will be open to the general public. There will be a cash bar. I do not normally buy alcohol for anyone else. I do drink myself. I hope all gay and gay-friendly people of whatever category, but friendly, are invited to attend, whether they know me or not or care about me or not. So, goodbye. Thank you for your time. And I'm sorry, but I am leaving.
Happy anniversary, and we'll be there.
Well, I'll hold you to that.
I'll be there.
Hi, City of Urbana Council members. I'm Madison, an undergraduate student researcher at the Community Data Clinic. I'm here to read a letter on behalf of Dr. Anita Chan to voice her continued support of the proposed ordinance surrounding surveillance technology. The proposed ordinance remains a common sense proposal for promoting transparency and protecting civil rights and civil liberties and due process, while also balancing city authorities and police departments' public safety interests with respect to new technologies. Since the ordinance discussion before January 2025, a city council meeting, new questions have arisen over how to define surveillance technology, with some parties specifying that the ordinance should be limited to define surveillance tech as equipment that specifies in the ordinance that does not require manual operation, others specifying that it should be defined as devices that identify particular people, and others focusing on its capturing data of all people suspected or not of a crime. Surveillance technologies is a broad concept. They could be any of the products and services discussed above and include others used to detect, monitor, intercept, collect, exploit, preserve, process, analyze, invasively observe, and/or retain sensitive data, personally identifying information, including biomarkers or communications concerning individuals or groups. What is key is that all forms of surveillance technologies entail systems that are complex by nature, and they all entail powerful and inherently expensive capacities that commonly defy and exceed the average resident's expectations of policing in public space in ways that immediately complicate due process rights. The ordinance is a common sense approach to prevent abuses and to reaffirm the city's commitment to good government and accountability principles. It recognizes the needs for city authorities and police departments to involve their uses of technology while underscoring the oversight process as an opportunity to inform the public and its considerations for new technology contracts, specify measures taken to prevent and minimize adverse impacts, and invite city and council input on benefit, risk, and cost-benefit analysis. Further, it underscores the public value of an annual assessment process to ensure the legal compliance and product efficacy given dynamically changing systems and use contexts. Cities across the country have passed similar measures that demonstrate that they do create a blanket stop on city authorities from obtaining new surveillance technologies. From Madison and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Minnesota, San Jose, Boston, among others, dozens of cities across the U.S. of various sizes and regions have passed measures that require city council approval for the acquisition of new surveillance technologies. In cities like Madison and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they were further reported in 2024 a 40% and 39% drop in homicides, respectively, while Madison was recently recognized for being a national leader in traffic and road safety by the AAA Foundation, and was touted for its results for its Safer Community Network. A public approval process for the acquisition and use of surveillance technologies that involve the City Council and the public is a sensible approach to balancing public safety interests while safeguarding already known risks to civil rights and civil liberties that today's powerful surveillance technology systems inherently entail. These technologies can be used lawfully and legitimately with appropriate safeguards. Responsibly using surveillance technologies, however, means improving safety while working to protect the rule of law and to prevent and mitigate the risk growing to the public. This proposed ordinance works to do that, and thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the council? Okay, we'll move on to council input and communications. Grace.
Thank you. I wanted to thank those who came out tonight. Appreciate the presentation from the Environmental Leadership Group. Feel free to follow along and be in touch with how that implementation goes. And also appreciate the input from the Community Data Clinic. And I don't know if you or maybe Dr. Chan can send us an email of your input. That would also be appreciated. And did want to give an update on the ordinance. I also appreciate all the people who have worked on it so far and reviewed the proposal. And I'm thinking that we would benefit from taking some more time to learn about the current proposal and some other existing ordinances to have accurate information on what surveillance technology is currently in use, hear from some experts, get more community input and awareness, and transition to new city leadership. It's been a struggle working with some of the current leadership in a process that I found not particularly collaborative. I do want to keep the momentum going on this. I think in the meantime, we can have some staff research on the ordinance and what would apply in Urbana, hear from experts, and continue to research and discuss among council and community. So this ordinance is planned to be back in COW April 7th, I believe. And I hope that council and staff members continue to consider it in that time. And at that time, we may also want to consider taking an even longer pause to have some in-depth research and experience some new changes and come back to it. So that's all. Thank you.
Any other council communication? I can assure you that staff is continuing to research this ordinance and look into the versions that have been presented, and we will look forward to continuing discussion on April 7th. Okay, we'll move on to reports of standing committees. There are none. Committee of the Whole, this is two items from the regular agenda that are brought forth from the committee meeting on March 3rd. And this would be Councilmember Evans, who is the chair.
Thank you. On behalf of the Committee of the Whole, I would like to submit motion for approval, ordinance number 2025-03-007, an ordinance amending the annual budget ordinance, budget amendment number 6, omnibus.
Second.
So that's moved by Chris, seconded by Mary Alice. Any discussion? And we do have Finance Director Elizabeth Hannon here. And I understand James Quisenberry is now on the line. Is that right, James? Okay. This amendment will require 6 out of 8 votes, and the mayor votes on this. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu,
Yes.
Councilmember Evans,
Yes.
Councilmember Colacetti,
Yes.
Councilmember Bishop,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilkin,
Yes.
Councilmember Quisenberry, Mayor Marlin.
Yes. Could someone check with Burima to make sure he's got James on the line? Next, go ahead, Chris.
Yep. Next, I would like to motion approval ordinance number 2025-03-008, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $9 million general obligation bonds, Series 2025.
Second.
Moved by Chris, seconded by Mary Alice. Any discussion? Okay. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Wu,
Yes.
Councilmember Evans,
No.
Councilmember Colacetti,
Yes.
Councilmember Bishop,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilkin,
Yes.
Councilmember Quisenberry,
That motion passes. Thank you. Reports of special committees, I believe there are none. Reports of officers? Okay. With no further business before this special city council meeting, we stand adjourned. And this will be followed by a special meeting of the Cunningham Township Board.